Welcome to the Luminara Mindset. Chapter 36. Releasing Resentment. We have learned why boundaries are essential, and we have practiced the art of saying no. Now, we must address the primary emotional consequence of failing to do these things. We are here to do the deep and liberating work of releasing resentment. Resentment is one of the most toxic and corrosive emotions we can hold. It is a feeling of bitter, simmering indignation at having been treated unfairly. It is the experience of reliving a past hurt over and over again, each time adding another layer of anger and righteousness. It is a slow burning fire that consumes our inner peace and poisons our relationships. And here is the truth that can set us free. Resentment is almost always a signal that a boundary has been crossed. More often than not, it is a boundary that we failed to set or to enforce. Resentment is the emotional residue left behind when we repeatedly say yes, when our soul is screaming no. It is the feeling that festers when we give more than we have to give, when we allow our time and energy to be taken for granted, or when we stay silent when we need to speak our truth. While another person's behavior may have been the initial trigger, the resentment itself is a message from ourselves to ourselves. It is our inner guidance system telling us that we have betrayed our own needs. To hold on to resentment is to remain in a state of powerlessness. We blame the other person for our feelings, waiting for them to change, to apologize, to finally see the light. This keeps us in a victim state, where our happiness is dependent on someone else's actions. The path to releasing resentment is the path of radical responsibility. It is the courageous act of withdrawing our blame from the other person and turning our loving attention back to ourselves, asking the powerful question, what is my part in this? What was the missing boundary? Let us walk through a practice for transforming resentment into wisdom. First, identify the resentment in the privacy of your own heart or your journal. Be honest. Who are you resentful of? What is the story you are telling yourself about what they did? Second, acknowledge your unmet need. Beneath every resentment is a core, universal need that was not being met. Look beneath your anger. What did you truly need in that situation that you did not receive? Was it a need for respect, for consideration, for support, for rest, for appreciation? Name the need. This step shifts you from blame to a deeper understanding of yourself. Third, and this is the crucial step, identify the missing boundary. Now, connect the unmet need to your own actions. What boundary did you fail to set that resulted in this need being ignored? For example, perhaps you are resentful of a family member for always calling you with their problems. The unmet need is for peace and quiet. The missing boundary was your failure to say, I love you, but I don't have the emotional capacity for a long call right now. Fourth, forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for not having the awareness, the tools, or the courage to set that boundary at the time. You were doing the best you could. Release the self-blame. Finally, create a future-oriented plan. This is how you turn the poison into medicine. Based on what you have learned, what is one clear, kind boundary you can set in the future to protect this need? Your resentment has now become your teacher. It has shown you exactly where you need to show up for yourself more fully. This process takes you out of the powerless cycle of blame and places you firmly back in the driver's seat of your own emotional life. You no longer need the other person to change. You change your own behavior. You learn to protect your own needs. The resentment, having delivered its message, can finally be released. Welcome to the Luminara mindset. Your invitation this week is to work with one small, current resentment. Take out your journal and compassionately guide yourself through the release process. Write down the resentment. Identify your unmet need. Identify the missing boundary you failed to set. Forgive yourself for not knowing better at the time. And then, write down one clear, simple boundary you can practice setting in the future. Transform this heavy feeling into a powerful lesson